welcome back everybody. So let's talk blades, because that's what I'm into. And you and me, why not? I'm just gonna get this review out of the way. I was gonna do an unboxing for it yesterday when I got it, but I don't know, I just felt like I really needed to kind of think on this one. It's big, and I'm sure you guys already know how I feel about big knives. I love them. It just depends on whether or not I'm capable of dealing with carrying them, because they're just so controversial. Here it is, the Spyderco Military. Someone in my comments, when I was talking about the Paramilitary 2, said that they like this one more because of its thinner profile, the rounded off feeling, because it wasn't so boxy and so square, and the handle. And I actually do agree, this is a better feel on the hand than the Paramilitary 2. I don't have the Paramilitary 2 right now offhand. I do apologize about that. But I have the military right now. I'm going to be carrying this. I don't know for how long, but it's actually a joy to carry. As a big knife, it's a joy to carry. I can say that when I did get it yesterday, it went straight to the pocket. And I still have the original box. I don't know why. Usually I just toss the boxes. I don't like keeping unnecessary things, especially packaging. I throw that stuff away. I don't know why I'm keeping it now. I don't know if I feel unsure about it or what, but for a big knife, it actually feels fantastic in the pocket, in the hands, carrying and deploying everything. It is great. It's just an upscaled version of the PM2. And I can tell you right now, I quite enjoy that a lot, actually. So, and I'm a big knife guy, so. And if I could do that with the knife, especially a Spyderco, this is a keeper. Because I can't do this with all my Spydercos. I've tried. It doesn't always work. It just depends on if you can actually get a good grip, and do the Spidey flick. So Paramilitary 2 is great for smaller tasks. This is great for, in my opinion, bigger tasks, even self-defense, because this thing is 4-inch blade. It's huge, and I'm sure it's intimidating as heck if you were to pull this out on a would-be attacker. And just as a warning, like, yo, bro, please don't, And this is just one of those things. I mean, I would never, ever suggest anybody to get something that they definitely aren't ready to have, especially a big old knife like this. Usually for beginners and people that are just starting off with collecting knives, I always tell them, start off with something small, start off with something simple, so you're familiar with the knife, especially if you're not familiar with it, If I were to ask somebody if you're familiar with knives, and you were to tell me I only know a knife through kitchen use, then I'd tell you, okay, well then you're not really a knife person, you're just somebody who might need to use maybe a tool moreover than an actual knife. And what I mean by tool, I mean like a multi-tool or a small, like Swiss Army, folder, or something simple, something not so uberly scary like this one. And I'm not saying that this is a scary knife, but it is a huge knife. But for its hugeness, it's very light, and it feels great. It feels good in the hand. And yes, I got this because the PM2 kind of got me thinking. I was like, man, I want one with the 4-inch blade. And maybe I was tired that day, but I was like, man, I wish they had a model of the PM2 with a 4-inch blade. And I was like, well, I remember seeing that from somewhere, and it was a name. What was that name? It was so easy. It was like a... And I was like, dude, I must be really tired because, duh, it's the military. So It was just one of those things where, you know, brain fart meets slight intelligence and lack of caffeine. So you see pictures of it, but you don't know what it's like, and you get mixed messages. You get people that tell you, oh, it's a good knife. Some people tell you, oh, I would never use it because it's so big, or oh, I just don't see the use in something so murdery, or oh, it just looks too scary for me, or ah, it's not my taste, I like the smaller. Whatever the reason is, I enjoy it. I think it's a great knife. The handle is ginormous on this thing, but it's such a comfortable grip. I can't stop holding it. I mean, the G10 is perfect. It's not overly aggressive. It's not to where you don't feel any grip. There is grip there. I love the open pillar construction. It just means that it's easier to clean. You don't have to take apart your knife. I mean, unless you absolutely have to. I love that it's a traditional liner lock. What I find a little funny is that there's serrations on the inside where the liner lock is, and these aren't just normal little, you know, like, oh, it's a little bumpy, you get a little grip. No, this is pretty aggressive, and it's good because you can get to it better. I love that you can choke up because it's got the jimping up here and the jimping down here, and it still provides a great grip. You still have a lot to work with. And of course, the blade steel, the CPM S30V, which is always a lovable steel. And of course, Golden Colorado, USA Earth. Humongous lanyard hole. Look at that thing. Freaking metal tube in there. And there's partial liners in there for reasons of obvious functionality, to make sure that these screws have somewhere to bite, I assume. Because if I'm looking at it, you can kind of see where those liners are, and it's kind of following the path of the screws, so that's important. That just goes to show that this is a very durable knife. For as light and as thin as this knife is, it is very, very, very durable. And with that, I can say that because of how big this thing is, how long it is so smooth on opening to me. It really is. Probably not as smooth as the PM2, but still very smooth. And everything is just natural. I mean, I didn't think I would like tip-down carry. This is only tip-down carry, in this configuration only. But when you reach in your pocket to grab it, this is sticking out of your pocket right here. That is sticking out of your pocket. But when you grab it, it's actually, so you can grab it, pull it out the pocket, you can swivel your hand to that hole and get it open. Or if you're, you know, you can put your, say this is, you know, it's in your pocket right now, you can put your hand in there and grab onto that hole, pull it out, and flick it open. It's just more convenient. I thought I would want it to be the pocket clip being on this side facing down, so it's like this in your pocket and you pull it out. But then that means that once it's out, you have to get up there and flick it open. Yeah, you know, that's not, this thing's huge for that. The handle is gargantuan on this thing, well, to me anyways. But we're talking, this is a $200 knife. I don't normally carry around $200 knives. I mainly collect them, and I carry them once in a while. I try not to carry them too often. I think it's because they're a little harder to replace if they're damaged, stolen, or beaten up if you were to ever use them, or they break or something, they fail, or I don't know. I always get a little sketchy knowing that I'm carrying around a $200 knife, but if you know how to use it and you know how to take care of it, then I guess the cost doesn't matter. But replacing it is going to be just a little bit harder because it's going to cost you 2 bills rather than 1, or less than 1. So let's go ahead and get into the specs of this thing. I'm ranting almost 10 minutes of just my personal opinion on this so far, and I've only barely carried it for a day. So let's go ahead and get into it. And I gotta say, for a big knife, it is quite comfortable to carry, quite comfortable. It comes in at a whopping 4.3 ounces. This is a knife that weighs less than 5 ounces for its size. That is surprising. And let's go into length, everyone. So, that is a 4-inch blade with an overall 9.5 inches. That's a pretty big knife. And just in case you want to see, I want to say it's on bronze washers, but I can't really tell. It feels like they're on bronze washers. Yeah, I think they are. I can kind of see it. I don't know if you guys can see it. Kind of see that orange shimmer there? Looks like they are on bronze washers, which is why it's so smooth on opening. And then, of course, partial liners, still mostly G10, so that's great. I never thought in a million years that I would ever find a knife like this, especially in its tip-down configuration, to be okay to carry. I never carry a knife like that, at least not without being annoyed by it, but this is actually proper for what it, you know, for the model and what it is. So, oh, I just hit my tripod. Damn. It's okay. It's alright. It happens. Alright. Let's go into thickness. You're looking at a 3.2 millimeters on the blade and on the handle. Trying to get not the pocket clip. At 11.3, 11.4. Still, great knife. Needle sharp up here, which is probably the only thing that makes me nervous about this knife, is how needle sharp that is. So that means that you know, you don't want to ruin it if it hits anything. That's probably not a good thing. If it hits anything, it's just gonna be that, you know. I messed up the tip a little bit. That's all right. Oh, it straightened out after doing that. Let's do it a little bit more, yeah? Yeah, now it's straightened out. That's how thin that tip is. Wow. But yeah, this is a great knife. This is already, and I haven't really, I think I cut with it once yesterday. I think I was cutting something small with it, and it slid. It just cut so smoothly, so effortlessly. I quite enjoy it. Sorry, I know the camera's all moving around. Alright, so I got some paper for you guys, so let's get down to the paper cutting thing process. Whatchamacallit, there it is. So now I get to really see how sharp it still is. Yeah, that thing is razor sharp. And of course the tip, no effort whatsoever. So this is one of those must-haves. If you don't have one and you're thinking about getting one and you're willing to drop 2 bills on it, I suggest this knife highly. I really do. If you're a beginner and you don't know whether or not you want this knife, I would wait on it, only because I don't think this is a knife for somebody who is not really experienced. What do I know? If you're into it and you like it, get it. I love how the Spidey hole is so easy to get to, because it's right there. Pop it open and it's ready to go. Thumb, or you can do the whole Spidey flick thing if you're good enough. Just don't be an idiot like me and hit the tripod and bend your tip like I just did, and bend it right back by using a little bit of wood to try and strop it out. So, or, you know, with my PM2 when I was tired and I couldn't because the detent was so strong, I flicked it open, but then I opened up my hand entirely and it fell right on top of another knife, and it dinged right around here on the PM2. I tried showing that on camera. I was just out of my stupidity and just lack of sleep. But I fixed it. It's fine now. I'm still learning as I go. I'm sure we all are a little bit. But that's life, right? Learn something new every day. So this is one of those knives that I kind of was staring at for a couple of years before I was like, yeah, I do want it. But this knife kind of reminds me of the Resilience a little bit because of how simple construction it is. It's just not with, the tip is a little bit more aggressive on this one than the Resilience, and of course this has better blade steel than the Resilience. Resilience is like a budget folder under 50 bucks. This thing is a $200 knife. 197, 98 and change. That's what this was priced as on Amazon. There was only a small handful left, but I'm sure there are still, Spyderco's still producing these, so if you're looking at getting one, why not? It's a great knife. It's capable of doing all kinds of things that the PM2 is capable of doing. It's just bigger. So, that is if you're a big knife guy. If you're not, I wouldn't really waste money on it. If you're capable of being happy with your PM2, then keep your PM2, because all you really need is one knife, not a zillion. But if you're a collector like me, then I guess the number really doesn't matter. It's just a very expensive hobby after a while. So yeah, I'm gonna carry it for a few more days, see how it is. I'll give you guys an update if anything happens. That's the only time I'll ever update anything on any single knife. If anything actually happens to it or with it, or if I have like some exciting story about it, then I'll be sure to share it with you guys, because you guys are here, so why not? I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.